You're listening to the Marilu Henner Show, and we're glad you're here.
Okay, well, you probably know that that Indian films made in India, I think there are more in India than there are in the United States. I mean, they have like a huge film culture, and they have a lot of stars that come out of India, and you're always seeing people singing and dancing at the credits, and it's like always like a very, but it's a real expression of a range of stories, and there's a story now, a film called Unfreedom, that they will not allow to open in India. We have the director, the writer, the producer. It's been a real odyssey for him to write this film, get it produced, and direct it. And now he is opening it here in New York City on May the 29th, but it's not allowed to be shown in India. He's here to tell us why. Please give a warm Marilu Henner Show welcome to the producer, writer, director of Unfreedom, Raj Amit Kumar. Woohoo! See? You have coast-to-coast fans.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Okay. All right. So why is this so controversial? Tell us a little bit about the story and then explain to us why it's not allowed to be shown in India.
Well, Unfreedom has two parallel stories. One takes place in New York and another one in New Delhi. Mm-hmm. The story in New York deals with it shows several different kinds of Muslims and dealing with issues of violence and non-violence as we see in the contemporary world today.
Right.
The New Delhi story deals with LGBT community in India and many different archetypes, characters of that, and what they face in India in terms of violent behaviors.
So all right. So in New York, it's basically about a Muslim culture, and in New Delhi, it's about the LGBT culture.
That's true.
And that's why it's censored in India.
I think it's censored. I mean, this question has been asked many times. I think, what I've been saying is that, we see a lot of sex and violence in our pop culture today.
Sure.
But when you bring that sex and violence with politics and religion, it's just not easy to digest. And so I think that's the main reason that the way.
Did you know, making the film, that you were going to run into this kind of controversy? Did you know that people were going to have a hard time with it?
Well, I knew that I was dealing with tough subjects. I mean, I don't know if your audience knows that homosexuality is a criminal offense in India. So I knew that I was dealing with a subject that was not going to be easy to handle.
Right.
But I did not know that it will go that far, that they will, ultimately.
And
not
so what is
give
their
the
fear?
censorship.
They feel like people will be watching, and it's a love story, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of a warped love story, but not any more than some of the other films that have been shown all over the world.
Well, it's a love story that ends very tragically. I didn't get your last question.
No. I mean, so why is it? Why in this particular case?
So the reasons they have given is that if the people in India are going to watch the film, Hindus and Muslims going to go on streets and start killing each other. It will ignite unnatural passions. The film has no message. So there are absurd kind of reasoning.
No, but will people riot because this is going to be because it's not allowed, or because all of a sudden everybody's going to say, "Hey, this looks like fun"? I mean, so what is the big drama?
Look, people never riot just because they watch a movie. They don't go out and do that. It's a government that feels a threat that this kind of politics should not be discussed in public domain, and that's the fear. That's why they're banning it.
I see. Did you know going into it? You knew that it was a controversial film.
I knew it would be a controversial film, but I didn't expect that we have gone as a country that regressive, that we will start censoring films like that. I knew that they will say, cut this and, all that, but...
And did they ask you to do that? They did, right?
They asked me to, certain cuts, but those cuts were so absurd that I would have no meaning left in the film,
Now, you haven't had that reaction here in America because we have freedom of expression, and so you haven't had any problems in terms of releasing the film, the people who are releasing it for you.
No, of course not. There is we have First Amendment here, so there is no reason that the film will be stopped from being released. But I've made a tough film. It divides audience. There are audience that not going to like it and get offended by it, and that there are audience who completely love the film.
Right.
So going into when as a filmmaker you make a film, that's the kind of impact you're looking for. But at least I'm able to show the film here, opening May 29th.
So you are able to show here, but are you worried about riots? I mean, are you in fear of your life? Do you feel like fundamentalists from India are going to come over here and create real problems for you?
The fear I have is that filmmakers, bloggers, writers, can we just speak truth? And how long we can keep doing that? Because this is what's been happening around the world.
Sure.
So I have fear that I hope I don't have to live in a world where we stop saying truthful things. That's the bigger fear.
So what's the temperature right now for you in India? I mean, if you go back, there's going to be some kind of trial or some kind of hearing, or there's going to be...
Yes, I've taken the film to the High Court. So,
did you get picketed at all? Did people know this story, or did it come out afterwards?
Yeah, no, people know about the story, and it's the major publications have written about it,
right.
And everybody's talking about it. But there is no other recourse except for taking a legal route at this point of time. So that's what I'm doing.
So what do you hope will happen? That they'll say it's okay, and then you can show it?
I'm just being optimistic that I will continue fighting, and that's very important. It doesn't look very positive based on what other things been happening in India in terms of other films and all that.
Right.
It doesn't look very positive, but you can have faith, a little bit faith in the legal system, and so I'm going to take that route. Plus, it's important to take the film still to the public, so I can do private screening. So I'm going to take film on my show.
You'll be able to do that.
So
no, and I asked you before we started. I said to you, "How long have you been working on this film?" And you said, "Over half my life."
Yeah, half a decade, not half my life. Half a decade, yes.
Half a decade.
Yes.
So it's a long time.
It's been a long time. Yes, yes.
But you based it on a poem, and I asked you. I said, I said, "Oh, well, do you have a number in it? Would that have helped you get past the censors?
Right.
Not even at the credits?" And you said, "No, but there is someone does read the poem that it's based on."
Yes, it's Faiz Ahmed Saab's poem. That is sort of inspiration for the film. The poem is also the transliteration of his Dawn of Unfreedom. The poem was written at the eve of Indian independence.
Why was it so important to you to make a film? This is your first film too,
Yes.
right? So why was it so important to you to make a film that's so controversial? Would it have been an easier route to do something less controversial to get your foot in the door, or were you looking for impact?
I don't know if I was going to make a film which is going to be controversial. I wanted to make a film that speaks to me. Growing up, I have seen religious violence firsthand. I have known homosexual friends who have been raped and humiliated in India, I'm really concerned and worried about all that's happening around, and so
you wove the two stories,
yes,
because that's really, you took on two things.
Right. No, but actually I was trying to get to third important philosophical concept. That's why I brought them together. I wanted to study religious intolerance, violence, and sexuality, and that's what I studied in the film by bringing two stories together. Yeah.
Well, it's pretty amazing that that you're doing this. Does it make you want to do more films, or do you feel like one and done? Or next time I'm doing a romantic comedy?
Well, if they let me, I don't think I'll be able to do a romantic comedy. My next films are as tough as this one, maybe even tougher. But.
Yeah, I bet. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Again, the film is called Unfreedom, and it opens here in America on May the 29th. 2015, here in New York or all over?
New York, LA, other 10 major markets.
Now, it's a good film, too. I mean, that's what people are saying. I mean, it's had great impact here, and I hope that you win your case, because, censorship is never something that, I mean, especially with the situation that's going on right now. But my hat's off to you for taking on two very difficult subjects, knowing what was ahead. So.
Thank you very much. I hope everybody likes it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Marilu Henner Show, and I'm Marilu.